Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. It's Jen here. I'm not sure if anybody's on with me, but this is the first of our series, which is the Letting Go series. I am going to be doing this once a week during the month of November. I'm calling it No, as in N-O, Vember, because I feel like so many of us are so caught up in fear and anxiety and control and really resisting what is because we're holding on to what was. So no more of that in November, because we need to make room for the new, for new possibilities and new ways of thinking. So I invite you to join me here every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. I will be doing this for the entire month. So I'm not sure if anybody's here, but if you're here, by all means, please let me know. Shoot me a little hi or tell me that you're here. I'm going to give it a minute. I see that there are 5 people here, so let's see. Okay. So, one of the big things about letting go is really being aware of what we're holding on to. And that's a really powerful thing, because there's a lot of things that happen in our life that we don't even realize are creating so much tension and taking so much of our energy. And a lot of that has to do with our attachment to things, our attachment to thoughts or stories in our head, our attachment to hey Jackie, hey Donna, good to see you. Our attachment to what we're expecting things to be. So our expectations of how our life should be, or how we are supposed to be in our life. Those attachments to expectations, that's a huge thing that oftentimes weighs us down and takes so much of our energy. I know for me, it can be very exhausting. Let me know, guys, if this is resonating with you, if you are having trouble letting go of some things, because this is a tough time, especially now, and all the turmoil happening in the U.S. as far as what's happening with the election. People are so anxious. But here's the thing. If you voted, you did your job. And so here's the letting go part. You have to let go of your expectation of the outcome. You have to let go of your judgment of what is, and allow what is supposed to be, or what is unfolding, to unfold. Because when we put so much attention and energy into resisting what is, we're exhausted. We get so drained. And then guess what? It takes us away from being present in our life. It takes us away from the moments in our life that bring us joy. It takes us away from the things that that really require our attention, or things that we actually have control over, which is ourselves in the present moment. This is a huge part of what's happening and what I see. And when people come to see me, and when I see a lot of times the exhaustion and the fatigue and the stress and the anxiety or the depression, it's all because we attach to expectations. We attach to thoughts and create these stories in our head. And we're oftentimes stuck in the past, where we can't seem to move forward because we want what was to continue to be. It is hard to let go. Absolutely. It ain't easy. I'm actually going to share with you a couple of little things. It's interesting because I just had this, the new moon, or the blue moon, was on Halloween, so Saturday, and I did a little meditation. And I'm going to be honest with you. Halloween was hard for me. And Halloween every year is hard for me because of the expectations. The expectations my kids have, the expectations I have. And now I have older kids, teenagers, and I will tell you, I got very unhappy because my kids were left out of some things. And there were some things that happened, and one of my kids in particular was not included in something. So his friend group did something and didn't include him, and he was really sad. And I was so angry. I was so angry. I was angry at the parents. I was angry at the kids. And that anger just kind of took me away from being present with my family and took me away from so many things and took so much energy. I was drained. I was tired. I was exhausted because I was putting so much energy into this. And here's the practice part, because I'll share with you in a moment. I have learned to let go. I have really been working on allowing. That's been the story of my life for the past 15 years, I think, is the allowing things and to open myself to new possibilities and to new experiences and open myself for opportunities to growth. But we still have these moments of being triggered. And those moments of being triggered are our emotions. And 9 times out of 10, they're attached to something from our own past. Or they're attached to an expectation that we have of other people or of ourselves. So this anger that I had to really sit with it and go, geez, Jen, whoo, you're being a little judgmental here. Or wow, you're putting a lot of energy and attention into what's happening here with one of your kids, and there's nothing you can do about it. I don't have control over this situation. I only have control over myself and my own reaction to it. And I teach my kids that. But it doesn't stop us from getting that trigger and feeling it in our gut, in our heart, that heaviness, that hurt, that tightness. That happens. And the key is to notice it when that happens. And then breathe into it and not judge it, but breathe into it and go, okay, all right, this is what I'm feeling. Yeah, this is bringing up some stuff from my past. Yeah, I was left out of things when I was a kid. That hurts. That sucks. And I can be empathetic, but guess what? Instead of me going down that path to make myself feel better and start judging the kids or judging the parents or judging the situation, I really need to check myself and pull myself back and sit with that feeling of discomfort. Because that's where our power lies, in the present moment. When you sit with that discomfort and you notice what's happening, you notice how you're feeling instead of trying to run away from or distract or put how you're feeling onto other people. That's where we get into trouble. And the key is to notice that and then pull yourself back and then go into your head and say, okay, why am I feeling this way? Okay, what do I have control over? And again, I've said this numerous times, and this plays anxiety. Anxiety is trying to organize and control everything so you can control outcomes. It's impossible. We can't do that. We have to notice that we can only control ourselves, our choices, our thoughts, our actions, our reactions in the present moment. That's all we have control over. But how I react is going to influence how my kids react. My thoughts and my expression, my words of my thoughts, are going to influence my kids and my community. So, is this resonating with any of you guys? It's hard. You're always going to have stuff that brings stuff up and gets you triggered. That's how our mind works. It's very powerful. But guess what? We can notice the trigger, notice what's happening, and then bring our attention to our mind and shift the way we're looking at things and perceive things. That's the big part of allowing. Because resistance, and that's a big part of what I feel like I'm looking to help people let go of, is the resistance. Because when we resist what's happening, or we resist a feeling, we resist an emotion, we resist the discomfort, that's what gets us blocked. That's what gets us stuck. That's what, think about when you're resisting, like if the car wants to go this way and you're in a spin and you're fighting and you're trying to muscle it this way, or you're resisting a kid that's throwing a tantrum, right? It takes so much energy and tension to resist. But when we just let go a little bit and we breathe and we go, okay, all right, this is what's happening right now. There's so much liberation to that. It opens ourselves up. It opens energy to go to other things. It opens ourself and our heart, our mind to other things, to other possibilities. again, let me know if this is resonating to you or if you need any clarification, guys, because I'm happy to clarify that. But really, really important. And it's, when I say surrender, it's funny. I did this e-workshop with some friends of mine that were German, and we talked about surrender. And in their mind, they thought surrender was like a giving up. In my mind, when I use the word surrender, it's more like, you know, putting your arms up and saying, like, surrendering to God, to the universe, to the guides, and say, okay, this is hard right now. This is going on right now. I'm having a hard time, and I'm surrendering because I can't do anything about this. So I need to just surrender and allow whatever is to be, right? Whatever's unfolding, I need to allow it to unfold. Because when we resist, it's like trying to resist water. It's going to find a way, and it's just going to carve out a path somewhere else. So one of the big things that the aha moments when this really hit home for me was when my son had a stroke. So my second son had a massive stroke when he was born. And I remember waking up in the hospital. All the babies are crying. My husband is with my son 30 miles away because I had him at a little community hospital. So he went to the city hospital. And I remember just being so stuck in, this isn't how I was supposed to have a baby. Like, this experience is not how it was supposed to be, and getting so kind of stuck and almost feeling sorry for myself and not being able to kind of see the big picture. And I was in this fog, right? I felt like I had this foggy brain. And then I remember really clearly hearing the words, just breathe. And I did. I took some really deep, deep breaths, and all of a sudden this clarity came. And I knew I just had to get to my baby. Right? Whatever happened. There was nothing I could do about that. But I could be with my baby, to connect to my baby, and to help guide myself, my husband, to support my husband, to support each other while we're going through it, but also to be with my baby and connect to my baby. Because I got a very clear message that he was going to tell me what he needed. And I got to the hospital. My husband was laboring over neonatal neurology books. You know, he's a surgeon, so he felt powerless. He wanted to kind of understand what was happening. And I think to a degree, he wanted to be able to control outcomes. But guess what? The damage was done. The damage was done to my son's brain. So I can't get that brain function back, but I could do and learn everything I could to maximize what he already has, what function he has, and to strengthen the alternative pathways. But I literally knew that I had to connect with this baby to figure out what he needed, and that he was going to tell me what he needed. But at the same token, I also had to let go of my expectation and my thoughts of what this child was going to be. A lot of us parents have ideas on how our kids are going to be and what their life should be. I do that all the time, where I get caught up with things that maybe aren't happening in my kids' worlds or socially or whatever. And I think, you know what, Jen? This is their path. This is not my path. This is their story. This is their path, their journey. All I can do is be alongside them to support them and guide them and be there for them. But I have to let their path unfold the way it's meant to unfold. I can't control it, right? And that's what a lot of us do, is we, as parents, try to control paths. And we have these expectations of, this is what my kid is going to be. This is what my kid is going to do. And guess what? Your kid comes into the world with a whole different set of navigation systems, should I say, than we do. Your kid is coming into the world to be who they are meant to be, not who you think they should be. And that's really a big key part. So anyway, fast forward, I remember taking my son to checkups in Children's Hospital and seeing all these bald kids and seeing all these, you know, the kids that had gone through cancer and seeing these kids in wheelchairs that had cerebral palsy. And I remember thinking to myself, because, you know, our mind is a way to protect us, likes to compare and likes to say, well, at least I don't have that. And I remember looking at these kids thinking, okay, my kid has a brain injury, but at least I don't have that. At least I don't have a kid going through cancer. At least my kid doesn't have cerebral palsy in a wheelchair. And then fast forward a couple years, because I was thinking I couldn't handle that, right? I can handle this, but I don't think I can handle that. So fast forward a couple years and my third son gets leukemia. All of a sudden, I have one of those bald kids. And I want to say, I think it was around the same time, the son that had a stroke, in an IEP meeting or in a meeting with doctors, they had referred to him as having had cerebral palsy. And I was like, what? I didn't, that term never came up with him, but it makes sense. The nurse in me is like, hello, he had an anoxic brain event. So he had one side of his body, his right side, didn't work. He had a palsy, or he had hemiplegia, which is one side of his body just didn't work the way that the other side of his body worked. And he had a palsy, meaning like he literally had cellular death in his brain and certain parts of his brain that didn't get oxygen. So even though he's functional and he does really, he's not in a wheelchair, but I had those two moments and I thought, oh geez, I have this. But what that taught me was, you didn't think you can handle it, but guess what, Jen? You're handling it. And it showed me that we can handle so much more than we think we can handle. We are so much more resilient than we give ourselves credit for. But we have to sort of, it's our mind and the stories in our head that start to create that resistance. And it's a way to try to make ourselves feel safe and secure, or trying to justify or balance, but it doesn't work. What it does is it feeds this beast in our head. It feeds the being stuck in the past, or the stories from the past, instead of allowing a new story to unfold. What it does is it makes us anxious and start trying to control everything to avoid a certain outcome in the future. So that's anxiety, when we're trying to control and we're trying to like have this tight grip on things because we are nervous and anxious about what's going to happen in the future, when guess what? We don't have control over the future. And all that attention to the future is taking you out of the here and now and robbing you of your enjoyment and your presence in your life right now as it unfolds. I hope this is resonating with some of you guys, because to me, this is really the crux, and this is what I would say to start to let go of. And the first part of letting go is awareness, being aware of it. Noticing what are those thoughts in your head. Noticing what are you trying to control. And then looking at it and saying, do you have control over that? And then looking at what are your expectations. And I really had to look at I am putting my expectations of what I try to teach my kids to be inclusive. I try to teach my kids to be compassionate. I try to teach my kids to be kind and to be themselves and to not change who they are to fit in with other people. And I'm projecting that onto other people and other kids. And when other people don't teach their kids that, I get a little judgy. And that's mine. That's not theirs. That's mine. Because that's not right for me to have that expectation. That's my value. I can't put that value on somebody else. I can be disappointed for my son, but all I can do is really talk to him and say, you know what? Let's look at what is your part in this. What can you control? And what can you not control? And what's important to you? What are your values? Is it important to you to be with these people? Or are you maybe realizing that these aren't your people? And this is a really, really tricky thing. And again, I would never go back to my teenage years, one of the hardest times in life. But I have that as an adult. I have situations where I'm not included in something. And again, sometimes it's deliberate, sometimes it's not. And I think I have to step back and say to myself, it is okay to feel sad. It is okay to feel hurt. It is okay to feel disappointed in the moment. But it's not okay for me to then create a story in my head or start judging other people or hold on to anger and hold on to maybe even anxiety about not being a part of something down the road. That's where we get out of balance. That's where we give so much of our power away. So I'd love to take you guys on a little meditation. And what I want you to do is to call up a situation, maybe a situation that makes you angry, a situation that maybe triggers you, maybe a person even. And just call that up in your mind. Bring that to your attention right now. And one of the biggest things that we can do is to shift that story in our brain and to start, like I like to say, to walk around the whole situation. Instead of seeing it one-dimensionally, to really look and walk around it completely. So pull up that thought into your head. And then I want you to just center yourself for a minute and just take a couple of deep breaths and just feel that breath coming in. Notice anything happening in your body. Notice the areas of tension or the areas of discomfort. Don't judge them, just notice them. Especially when you're bringing this person or this situation into your head, right? And then I want you to just really breathe into those areas. Take a couple deep breaths and just breathe in and just tell yourself, I'm safe in this moment. I'm secure in my body. If your mind wanders, just bring it to your breath and let your breath be your anchor. Hey, Marcy. And then just breathe. And then I want you to really think of the situation. Think of what is it that bothers you and is upsetting you so much about this situation. What is it that's creating anger or fear or anxiety? What is it about this person or this situation that is bothering you so much? And just notice it. Don't get caught in the story. And then breathe and maybe even blow that out, exhale that, put that anger, take a couple of little deep breaths and just blow that anger out. Just let it out like you're blowing a balloon, like we did on my last meditation. Just blow it out until you start to find a little bit of ease in your body. Now I want you to say to yourself, or even out loud, just like me, this person is trying to live their best life. Just like me, this person is trying to find safety and security and their space or their place in the world. Just like me, this person is doing the best they can with the knowledge, with the tools, the information, and with the vision that they have of whatever's happening in the moment. I may not agree with them. I may be a little different. But just like me, they are trying their best to navigate life. Then I want you to take a really deep breath in. Maybe even open your arms a little bit, if it's there for you. If not, that's okay. And just say, I release this judgment. I release this anger. I release this fear. And open yourself up to the possibility that you have more in common than you think. Open yourself up to the possibility that no one's necessarily trying to harm you, that your sense of threat is a story, that you are safe and you are secure in your body, in your environment in this moment. And take a deep breath in. Put one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly. And just breathe. I'm calling in Archangel Michael, Archangel Raphael, Archangel Ariel, Archangel Gabriel. Calling in Kuan Yin, who helps us heal karmic energy. And I'm asking you right now to think of, what do you want to let go of tonight in this moment? What are you ready to let go of? And then I want you to think of putting it in a little box, or putting it in a little spaceship, or whatever it is. Visualize whatever it is, some vessel, some way you're going to hand this over to the guides and the angels that are there, ready to take this burden from you. And I want you to just tell them, I release this to you now. It no longer serves me. And then I want you to literally open those arms and tell the universe that you are ready to receive whatever it is you want to receive. Whether it's peace, whether it's calm, whether it's courage, whether it's love or joy or more ease. Open and receive. And bring your arms back in up to your heart. And so it is. And so it is. And so it is. So a lot of these feelings have to do with a blocked heart chakra or a blocked root chakra. The root is the safety and security. The root is also our childhood issues, childhood situations. The heart is how we love, but when it's blocked, we judge. It's also the victimization. Sometimes we can be victims in our life. So, again, this doesn't mean you're never going to have this stuff pop up. But hopefully this is giving you some tools to start to reframe the way our mind tries to picture things, or the stories that our mind will create. And hopefully this will help you begin to let go a little bit at a time. Again, the first step is noticing. The second step is tuning in and breathing and releasing in your physical body. And then when you're ready, you can ask your guides, we all have them. You can ask the universe to just release. If you're having trouble sometimes, you can write on a piece of paper. I love to journal, because when I'm having anxiety or if I'm caught up in something, I'll journal and I will just get it out while I'm journaling. Sometimes I'll even write certain words or certain things, this angry thoughts or frustrated thoughts or fearful thoughts, I'll write on a piece of paper and then I light it on fire in the fireplace. These are different ways that you can start to let go. But again, you can't let go of something that you're not willing to be aware of. And if you surrender to the fear, the anxiety, and the resistance, then you're giving your power away. And it's hard to let go of something that you don't have control over. So, again, I'm going to ask if anybody has questions. Please, by all means, let me know. I thank you guys for being here. And this will be up on my, up on the group page, the Warrior Moms on a Mission page. And I will also be putting this up on YouTube. So I wish you guys well. We're going to dive into this a little bit more next week, next Wednesday. Next week we'll go into more of the control and the circle of control. Today was a little bit about expectations. So hopefully this helped you. Hopefully you can sleep easy tonight And by all means, you can call up this meditation and do this meditation again, either from my YouTube channel or from this Facebook page. All right? Well, thank you guys for being here with me, and I wish you all a good night. Be well, everyone.